Have you ever visited an old ghost town? The United States has some gold mining ghost towns, but you're right now looking at the only Diamond Rush ghost town. The buildings that once were here are no longer here. 110 years ago, this looked a lot different. One building that's still here today is the Mooney House. And I had a video where I took you inside to see it, and you ought to see the insides of this. It was built in the early 1930s and is still in existence today, the oldest standing structure in Pike County, Arkansas. But this is the site of Kimberley. The town of Kimberley has the same name as Kimberley, South Africa, near the famous diamond mines there. And it was named that because of the nearby diamond pipes here. Kimberly is now a part of Murfreesboro, Arkansas, and we're really right in between the Crater of Diamond State Park and the Murfreesboro Courthouse Square. And my wife Cindy is going to read to us a little from my book, just a couple of paragraphs, and then we're going to look at this old plat map of the area that shows how this city was laid out.
When the news was proclaimed in late 1906 that genuine diamonds had been found near Murfreesboro, it sparked our nation's only diamond rush. Small-time prospectors and fortune hunters flocked to the little town hoping to strike it rich, but after the difficult trip to this remote spot, they found that Huddleston's field of diamonds had already been claimed by a company who posted guards to keep them out. Mr. Monney had a clever solution for their problem. He opened up his land to hopeful treasure seekers willing to pay a 50-cent search fee. They were allowed to keep whatever they found. This unprecedented opportunity proved to be a popular notion. Old photos showed crowds of people scouring the ground in search of gems. One of the early lucky searchers picked up a 13.25 carat diamond on the surface at the Monney mine.
That's a big one.
The influx of treasure hunters created another problem for the area that M.M. Mauney also solved. The small remote hamlet was not prepared for a diamond rush. It only had one hotel, the Conway. It was made of logs, had only 10 rooms, and had no electricity or indoor plumbing. But the Conway Hotel still received more demands for rooms than they could accommodate. In his memoirs, Howard A. Millar reports of the times. The hotel turned away 10,000 people in 1 year who were seeking shelter. The 2.5-mile stretch of road from Murfreesboro to the Huddleston farm was dotted with tents and hastily built shelters. The town of Kimberly was laid out along Prairie Creek, just north of the crater by M.M. Mauney. Lots sold at ridiculous prices, almost faster than they could be recorded at the courthouse. Although today there is little left to mark the spot, the new town sprouted a 3-story hotel, several stores and restaurants. Some of the street names were Garnet, Ruby, Topaz, Opal, Agate, Emerald, Moonstone, and, of course, there was Diamond Avenue.
And Diamond Avenue is right here on this map. And over here by this Queen of Diamonds sign, that is Diamond Avenue. We'll get in the car in a minute and drive over. My wife's navigation system shows Diamond Avenue, although the street sign there is different. Her navigation system still calls it Diamond Avenue. Now, to get your bearings, this is the Mooney House or Monney House from built in 1830. It used to have a 3rd tier on the top, and it was used as a lookout for hostile Indians. It was built before Arkansas even became a state. And on the map, this is the Monney Museum, or the Monney House that I just showed you. And right beside it is Millar's diamond washing plant. And that lot sold for $50,000 back then. So that was a lot of money to erect that diamond plant there. I also did a video, it's off to the right behind these houses, but I did a video about the diamond recovery plant that was built there, and we'll drive down there in a minute and see what it looks like today. But I want to thank Sam Johnson of Kadoha Indian Mounds for the Indian Village for loaning me this plat map that he found. This is of Kimberly, the new Diamond City, Pike County, Arkansas. And this is from about 1910. So they had a lot of small plots laid out here and all these different streets, everything laid out. And now it's just a field and cows graze out here. But at the time they sold these, and then over on this side the Batemans had some land, and Smedleys, and these are names in the area. People still live here in this area. But so half of this map is over here, like I say, from that Queen of Diamonds sign all the way from here to this is Prairie Creek, and it's right over there by the Mooney House and the spot where the diamond recovery plant sat. And then almost 2/3 of the map is on the other side there, and that to me is just, you know, pasture and off in the woods. But at one time it was all laid out, and they sold lots, and people flocked here to camp out and look for diamond lands. Before we get in the car and go for a ride, I want to look at some of the old pictures of the buildings that used to be here 110 years ago. So let's take a minute and go back in time and see. This is the old bank that used to be in the town of Kimberly. And like I say, there's just nothing there anymore. And this is a building in Kimberly, a land company. They sold land, and see there's men sitting out in front there and all. This is a painting, a color painting that was done from that black and white photo, a modern painting. And this says, we buy and sell options on diamond land, timberland, and farmland. Let us show you. And all these men are sitting here on this bench, and they're holding rocks, probably a piece of the kimberlite or lamperite. And I just think it's a pretty cool little photo. And this is kind of faded out, of course, 110-year-old photos, but another building in Kimberly where you could buy items real cheap. It was the dollar store of the day. And this is the Monney House. I told you it had a third tier on it that's no longer there, but it used to be a lookout for hostile Indians. You can see that third tier in this photo. And from the Monney House, you can see it in the background there. People used to go there and buy tickets, pay 50 cents a day, walk across the bridge over Prairie Creek, and walk about a mile to the diamond fields to search for diamonds. And here's a scene from 110 years ago. People dressed a little different when they were searching diamonds at what is now Crater of Diamond State Park, but M.M. Mooney started the idea of pay a fee and keep the diamonds that you find. And like Cindy was reading, a 13¼ carat diamond was found in those early days. Here's some more surface searchers at what is now the north end of the Crater of Diamond State Park. This is really an old photo of the search field. It's amazing we have these photos that have survived. Now this is a hard way to do it. I guess most people walk to the diamond field, but some people got to take their wagon pulled by a horse or mule, and then they'd get out there with Ma and Pa both with pick and shovel and dig up the diamond soil and look through it for diamonds. Now There's a date on this picture in the upper right hand corner, October 2nd, 1910. So soon this will be a 110-year-old photo. And a guy rode out here in a car, and he's actually being chauffeured. He's sitting in the back of the car, and he's got a guy driving it for him. So pretty cool photo, and it was taken at what they called the Kimberley diamond fields. In other words, the north end, but that the Mooneys owned and part of the Kimberley township. And this also was taken the same day. They must have had some kind of a shed. That was the original wash pavilion with covering so you could look for diamonds out of the hot sun. And here these 4 kids at the time, also taken October 2nd, 1910. They were headed out searching for diamonds at the Mooney's diamond field at the north end. They had this platform set up, and I think they just carried lamperite up there and spread it out, and you can see a guy on the right with a rake or a hoe, and I guess he was just raking through it looking for diamonds. And I told you a diamond recovery plant was built. The Millars built this right next to the Ample Waters Prairie Creek, which is right near the Mooney House in the big town of Kimberly. And they hauled the ore a mile over a tram train line, and you can see the engine there and the track, and they even built a trestle over Prairie Creek to haul the ore. And I have other videos that show that train line and where the track ran, and it went right into the bottom of this processing plant. Here's another view of the plant that sat right here at the city of Kimberly, that's now part of the city of Murfreesboro. And this fence is here today, and we can take you to the corner of this fence, the same gate. We'll go there in a minute. And there's the plant. Notice the water tower there and the diamond recovery plant. And arsonists burned it down in January 13th, 1919. So the water tower remained, but the building was completely destroyed and all the equipment ruined because it got so hot. So they found a lot of diamonds until then. I did a video about the diamond recovery plant, and you ought to watch that too and get that neat history as well. And I also have a couple of videos about the tram train line and where it ran, and I'd like you to watch that. But for now, I think we're going to get in the car and drive over and show you where Diamond Lane is, and we'll go back to the Mooney House. So we'll go for just a short ride here. Short ride in the city of Kimberly. Turn around at Owl's Drive would be good. So these are descendants of the Mauneys. Al and Jane Terrell own this land in here now, and that's their home, and it's right where the Mooney home used to be at that time. And this was like Main Street that went right up where the bank used to be at the end of this street. And we're going to turn around when we can, but this was a major road in the town of Kimberly because the Mooneys had a lot of the land there, and their home was there, and on the other side it said Mooney Park. And then these were all lots that sold. And this is Highway 301, also South Washington, coming out of Murfreesboro, but the GPS shows that this is Diamond Lane. See, as it goes straight here, the road curves and takes you to the Crater of Diamonds, but this is Diamond Lane here. And her GPS shows that even though the modern street sign doesn't call it Diamond Lane, the navigation system knows that this was Diamond Lane of Kimberly. The Mooney House on the left here, as I said, was built in 1830s, early 1830s. And this gate is the gate that used to go to the old diamond recovery plant that sat here. And they found a lot of diamonds before arsonists burned it down. And this is the Mooney House. And like I say, in a different video, I took you indoors for a tour to see what this old home looked like. So please check out my other videos, and thank you for watching this historic video about old Kimberly City, now Murfreesboro, Arkansas.